Here we are at the studio computer desk, and we have to change out the computer. This computer is not going to work here because I cannot figure out how to control the brightness. The brightness is set to 100%. It is blinding bright. I'd have to use sunglasses if I was to actually use the machine for any extended period of time. It's just not going to work. It might have worked in a situation like the kitchen, for example, where I'm not going to be looking at it closely, but working at a close distance to it, this is not an option. It really stinks because the speakers on this unit, the onboard speakers, are the absolute best I have ever heard in an all-in-one type computer. It's even better than the iMac, which I would say is the second runner-up to being the best after this. So now I'll have to put a set of speakers on the counter, which I didn't want to do because there's not a lot of space on this counter, but we'll put speakers. Yeah, it really stinks. The display is really nice and sharp too, but the brightness is just way too high. I have done a fair bit of research into this issue, and what it seems like is you need to have a particular program. I believe it was called Viao control panel, and you need that program in order to adjust the brightness when using the PC input. Unfortunately, Sony or Viao, I don't know what the relation between those two computers is or those two brands is at this point in time. They seem to be separate websites. There is little to no legacy support offered on the website. There's little to no legacy downloads available, and so we're left with a scenario where unless somebody has a copy of the original image that shipped on these machines, or perhaps there is a copy of that control panel program floating around on the internet somewhere on a third-party site, which of course is always a potentially flaky option, you're pretty much out of luck. It does seem like you're able to adjust the brightness using the soft keys on the side of the computer if you're using it as HDMI in display, but for whatever reason those controls become unavailable once using the PC input. So I will at some point perhaps spend more time doing some more research on that program and trying to track down a copy, but for now this computer is totally unusable to me due to the brightness being stuck at full brightness. So we're going to have to put something else here. What I'm going to do for now is I'm going to put this unit here. This is a Lenovo ThinkCenter. It's another earlier all-in-one style machine. I don't really want to put a tower unit here because there's just nowhere to put it. I suppose I could put it on the bottom shelf or something there, but I just don't want to clutter up the room with the computer. So as much as I'm not really a fan of all-in-one type devices, I think down here is one of those scenarios where it does make sense. So we're going to take this out, which stinks. I only used it for about 5 or 10 minutes and it was too bright. The one good side of this is that now I can take the right angle power cord from this and connect it to the printer. And I don't have to spend any time searching for the other one I have. And I think I used this Lenovo computer for a period of time in the bedroom at the old location, so it should be set up, short from having to install a bunch of Windows updates patches since then, if automatic updates is turned on, and probably having to log into the email and the YouTube and a couple of other things that I used because the login probably expired. It's likely going to be a drop-in replacement. That is such a disappointment. I was really excited to use this computer. Oh well. Fortunately, I've got plenty others that we can work with. Let's swap the printer power cable first. So right now the printer has to sit like this, but if we swap it with this cable, we'll be able to push it back up against the wall more. Use this for the computer now. So now we can put that right up against the wall, and it does not create a potential cable hazard. Although that's quite a pinch there, I don't really like that either. I might have to modify the shelf a little bit. If I take the shelf and just pull it forwards, then the cord can just hang out the back. Alright, so that pushes back about an inch more now. And it's actually not too bad, but I think eventually I'll just cut the edge of this off and then the cord can hang right down the back. I'll have to reset up the printer on this computer, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. Alright. Might as well turn on the light here and see things a little bit clearer. Oh, I don't think that gave us too much light. Does this not have audio out the back? You know, I think that is so stupid. I don't know why Lenovo did that. And granted, these ports are kind of like hidden enough that you probably won't tell, but it's so dumb. There should have been audio on the back. Lenovo did that with a lot of the micro units too. Just no audio on the back, audio only on the front. So then you got a set of speakers or something, and you got wires everywhere because you got to have a cord coming out the front. It's dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. That's all the cables. Now I think that I have upstairs somewhere, I have like a little right angle thing which we can use to make the audio situation a little better. Just a question of where it is. I saw it recently, but that does not mean that it hasn't disappeared since then. It's not in there either. That's where I was hoping it would be. That stinks. It's not in there. So one other place I'll look for it, and if it's not there, we're just gonna go without it. Not in there. That is so annoying because I just had it a couple days ago. It was sitting right here when I set this computer up. I feel like it might be behind here, perhaps. No, I don't see it here. No, it's not there. That's annoying. I have no idea where it is then. Not gonna waste my whole evening looking for it. Too many other things to do. But I just had it within the last couple of days, which makes this particularly frustrating that I can't find it now. Come on. You have got to be kidding. I don't understand where it went. Look in this, whoa. Can look in this. Seriously? Slight possibility that it might be in here. Or I might have a second one in here. Well, there is one in here. I'm not sure if it's the one that I put it back, or if this is a separate one. But we'll use it. And we're going to go through all this, and I bet we're going to find those speakers don't even work or something. That would not surprise me one bit. That's the kind of stuff that goes on around here. It's acorn season. Okay, so this is what I wanted. This just is a right angle pass-through for the audio, so we can kind of feed the cord a little nicer down the side and out the back. This computer has speakers in it, but they're not particularly good. I certainly wouldn't use them to hear music or anything like that. Alright, so here's the speakers that we're going to use. These are the Harman Kardon computer speakers. These are very good speakers. We have an absolute rat's nest of wires here, which is uncalled for. This, I don't feel like this has anything to do with it. No, there appears to just be a audio cable in there. That's something to do with it. And the power cord. Why this is like this, I have no idea. It just sat stationary in a box for the last couple of years, and now it looks like it went to war and back. What the heck? So one of these is power for the left speaker, and then one of them is the audio input. Here's the audio input. These did tend to go bad a lot for whatever reason. I don't know what it is about them that spoils, but quite often we find these speakers not working just due to the audio 3.5mm thing being all screwed up. Hopefully that's not the case here. So that's to the left speaker. That's what this cable is for. Put the right speaker over here. Now this doesn't look right with the telephone. Coil up just a little bit. It's not totally out of control. And now, this is where this will come into play. What the heck is that? This will connect like this. So now it stays kind of nice and out of the way, whereas otherwise it would stick out like that and it looks not very nice. So this solves this problem. Okay, so the left speaker will go over here by this telephone. Tie up this cord a little bit. Not too much. This is very stiff. Almost feels like solid wire, not stranded. That's kind of weird. Make sure this is the right adapter. Harman Kardon, 15 volts AC, the input. That's what it calls for. I always like to check because sometimes the stuff just for whatever reason got put with the wrong adapter or what have you, and then could do some damage. Plugging stuff into the wrong equipment. That plugged in now. Power. Keyboard, stay with us. Data. Really should have tested these speakers before going through all this. I really don't remember if these work or not. I don't know where they came from. Got a wiry mess back here. Well, it's not quite as clean having the speakers here, but it don't look too bad actually. Alright. Still wood shavings everywhere. Well, the computer's speakers turned on, so that's promising. And it looks like the computer is also ready to turn on. And it does have Windows 7 and Windows 8, which is what I was hoping that it would have. This is all jacked up now. Okay, well again, let that load up for a minute. This is behaving like it has a rotational drive in there, which is fine. Good enough for me. Now, ironically, the brightness is too low on this, but we can fix that very easily because it has brightness controls right here. Okay. So we're going to reboot it one more time. I always find that the icons down here, the system tray, doesn't come up quite right the first time that Windows has been off for an extended period of time. And that's what we're experiencing here. We'll turn this printer on and we'll have to add the printer. Why that printer did not boot up. It's not plugged in. And I think I just successfully locked out the count with my stupid fat stomach. Yep, I hit the enter key a million times. Not catching a lot of breaks with this computer setup down here. So now we have to wait for this to time out. The exposure on the camera is terrible. Let me see if we can adjust that. Just that's something better, and I'll just deal with it in person, whatever looks better for the video for now. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we got network connection. Let's make sure that this is yep, it's 1 gigabits. That's good. Let's see what the audio is like. I think we got lucky with the computer speakers. This has an i3 2120 Sandy Bridge chip with 8 gigabytes of memory and a rotational hard drive. I'm not sure what the specs of the drive are. I'm also not sure why I didn't swap it out with something a little better, but don't care. It's good enough for me. Let me put something under these little bumpers on the stand so it doesn't get sticky junk all over the table. I vaguely remember that when I had it in the bedroom that it was getting a little bit sticky. Yep, the speakers are working. Okay, so now for the printer, and then we'll have recovered this back to where the other one was. Add a printer. This is not working the way that I think I gotta shut it off and shut it back on while it's connected. Or is this it here? And we just need the driver. Okay, I think we can do that. We'll just grab the driver from here. Last time it did come in through Windows updates, so I don't know why it's not this time. It will work fine with the generic PCL 5 or PCL 6. So maybe we get it to come up. I can just do that option again. On the Sony unit, the plug and pray worked just fine. Although that was more of a rare occurrence, quite frankly. Yeah, we're gonna have to do the driver update manually. Funny how it works on one unit but not the other when it's the same software and same printer. Alright, where are we at here? HP. Oh, I don't have one for this. Here's the driver. I'm going to rename it to something a little bit more meaningful. I don't think that these are really all that system specific. It says Windows 7. If I choose, let's see, if I choose Windows 8, probably it's going to give me the same thing. Yeah, it's the same unit. So we're going to just add a notation here that this is x64, and then I'm going to grab Windows XP 32, and we'll save that one as well. Alright, so we probably have to extract this. I would imagine this is an extracting thingamajig. Oh, that's not what I was expecting. It's not what I was expecting at all. Okay. There it is. That was easy enough. Let's set this to the default. And that worked. Very cool. That was pretty painless. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my folder here. Alright, so this computer is all set up and ready to go for use down here in the studio. Not my first choice, but it'll work just fine. And it actually looks a lot better than I thought it would. Fits in just fine, even having the speakers there. One more note before we close out the video. I was just perusing through some of the settings on the machine when I noticed that the Windows Experience Index has assessed the primary hard disk at a 7.7 out of 7.9, which is higher than any typical 5400 or 7200 RPM rotating hard drive would be able to achieve. So I guess I did swap in an SSD at some point to this. It must just not be a very good one. It's a lot of updates.